Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by your local Ford store and Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
Hey, guess what we have again tonight? Another preseason game.
Preseason hockey upon us tonight. We are, of course, looking forward to yet another banger of a game. Listen, they improved greatly. The quality of the game, I thought, was at least improved. There were some more goals. The guys we like scored, so that's always fun. We'll get into Saturday's game, preview tonight's game, and all that. But we have a few house cleaning items, a few news items, really. The first is, it appears, it's just my guess here, it appears as if the Flyers, owned by media conglomerate Comcast, have a little inside info on when the Phillies are going to be playing on Saturday. Of course, the Phillies postseason begins Saturday, October 4th. We will see who they play, whether it is the Dodgers or Reds, but probably have a little bit of a hint here because they've moved the game from 3 all the way back to 12:30 p.m., and the options for a possible Phillies playoff game on Saturday, 1 and 7. This seemed to hint that the Phillies will be playing the 7 o'clock game. There's also a 1 o'clock Temple game that day down at the sports complex. So chances are, I would guess the Flyers have a little inside info here. They're moving their game as early as possible. The Temple game is as early as possible. Get everyone the hell out of there as quickly as possible so that Red October can take over the sports complex.
And it'll still be a mess because there's going to be a lot of people tailgating all day for the Phillies.
There will be people tailgating probably in 20 minutes. All the way through the wild card series right to Saturday, people will be tailgating. But we seem to have a little hint of when that might be. But regardless, the Flyers have moved their preseason game, the game on Saturday the 4th, the preseason finale, to 12:30. So if you plan on checking out some preseason hockey, perhaps take note.
I believe that one's actually going to be broadcast with commentators.
It's supposed to be on
with
television.
Flyers commentators.
It's supposed to be on television. There is supposed to be commentary. Really, everything's coming up Flyers. Another piece of news from the weekend: Jack Nesbitt and Spencer Gill assigned to their juniors teams on Saturday. Nesbitt was never going to make it, but it just kept being like, I don't know, he looks good. And then had a little bit of a, well, does he? And then now he's back. And Spencer Gill, that was never really going to happen. They was going to hang around, but now he is back to the queue as well.
Yeah, they really like both these guys. Spencer Gill, as you said, he was always ticketed back to the queue at some point. I was curious that they might keep him around for the entirety of camp just to give him the experience. Nesbitt, though, as we talked about last week, the Flyers, on multiple occasions in the lead up to the start of camp, were kind of saying, well, Nesbitt might make us think. I theorized last week that perhaps some of that was driven by a desire to hype Nesbitt up a little bit within the fan base after there was a not hatred of the pick, but definite skepticism, and especially when you had prospect rankings coming out of, The Athletic, coming out of Elite Prospects, like the national prospect rankers were not having Nesbitt very high. I feel like there was some skepticism about whether he was the right pick. I think there was a little bit of desire on the part of the Flyers to pump his tires a little bit, to basically try to gain control of the narrative away from, we picked this guy and he's not even a top 100 prospect in the league, to, well, he had a good look and maybe he could make the team because he's that good of a prospect, even at age 18. He was never going to make the team, and now he's not making the team officially.
And that's, I feel like it wouldn't have been that big a deal if not for the holdover of Luchanko, Buyam, residual, what the hell are we doing here? Because Nesbitt, it was a surprising pick, but I don't know if it was just like, yo, what the hell, really? But it wasn't super unpopular the way it was. Hey, man, Zeev was there, and you chose not to take him.
I think the Luchanko pick was significantly less popular than the next
Yes,
pick.
And then you combine the two, though, and it's, what are we doing here? But this was... I said, like, the air went out of the room, but it wasn't like the outright, yo, they messed up the way it was the year before at the draft party, I would say was the mood of the room.
I don't think there wasn't one single guy that everyone wanted. Victor Eklund people liked. I like Victor Eklund a lot. Some people really like a Sean Aitchison. I know he was a guy you wanted, but there wasn't a, oh my God, this guy has star level potential at a premium position the same way there was with Zeev Buium, and the Flyers obviously went a different way. We'll see if they're right.
And now, listen, Jack Nesbitt, I do think he was impressive for the most part from what we saw out of him. But on one hand, and when we're at the rookie game, it's like, this is a long-term project, and also, well, you might make us think. So it was like kind of mixed signals here, but ultimately it was always going to be, yeah, man, Porter Martone went to college, so that kind of changed it. But if it was, listen, we'll give you a shot, but we're not guaranteeing anything, and Nesbitt's really going to make us think, like, well, then why didn't you take Jack Nesbitt, 6th overall? Like, if you really think he's better, then why didn't you take him there? Listen, there's value in everything, but he was never making it. As impressive as he may have been, I'm glad he got the look. I'm glad he made us all kind of rethink what we thought of the pick.
And it wasn't all hype.
Yeah.
He played well.
He played well.
He played well. He made plays.
Happened.
He looked impressive. He had that nice play to create the Rodrigo Abols goal in the first preseason game where he has that nice interception in the neutral zone, sends Abols in. That was a good play. That was not something that the organization invented. He made plays. He looked impressive in development camp, looked impressive in the rookie games. He was fine. It's just that he's not ready for the NHL, and I personally, as someone who has to more directly deal with the fans as opposed to Danny Briere and Keith Jones, I personally am glad that I no longer have people on mentions asking if Jack Nesbitt's going to make the team. It's nice for me not to have to deal with that.
So much of what goes on this show is just Charlie airing his grievances with Twitter. And the newsy bit today was Helge Grans has been waived. We all assume he won't be claimed and will be sent to till the Phantoms, but we saw it on Puckpedia. They tweeted out the waiver wire. A couple other people had it today, but man, that is that's a wasted opportunity for the young defense.
He blew it. That's the only way you can put it. He blew it because Helge Grans going into this camp, I think he was, if not in the driver's seat, was definitely on one of the first two rows of the starting lineup. He was right there. He's a guy who, because of his size, because he's a right-handed shot, because he had a good year in the AHL, because, as we're seeing today, he's no longer waiver exempt, he was being put in a position to take this job. He started out camp on a pairing with Cam York.
Yeah.
They were giving him an opportunity to make this team, and he just fell flat on his face. And I don't think he's this bad. No. I think he had a bad camp. Rick Tocchet today theorized that some of the defensemen, maybe all the defensemen, are struggling a bit because they're being forced to learn a new system in addition to also having to try to impress. Now, that leads you to the question of, well, why is Noah Juleson struggling then? He already knows the Rick Tocchet system, and he's still been terrible, but
because he's not good.
Because he just might not be a very good defenseman. Point being is that maybe that's part of it, and maybe 30 games into the season, Helge Grans will be killing it in the AHL, and he'll get a call-up. He looked pretty solid in his time in the NHL last year, so that's possible. But at this camp, given the opportunity to earn a job, he didn't just not seize the opportunity, he flopped.
He actively, it's not as if someone beat him out and it's like, well, nice try, but someone else was just more impressive. No, like the coach is openly saying no one has stood out thus far. And yet here we are, a guy who's not waiver exempt. It's like, well, see ya. Yeah. Like, we're not even going to try to sneak him through when everybody's Granses are getting through in a week. It's, yeah, we need this game time to go to someone else who might actually have a chance to make this team. We need these reps in practice going to someone else, and you're gone. Now, they could keep him at camp. They've already waived him, so it's like, all right, as long as he clears, he can stay.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, you haven't made it. You're not the one who's going to be who's going to be filling this spot.
Presumably, if there was still a chance he could win the job, you wouldn't risk waiving him.
Yes.
Even if they keep him at camp, they don't send him down immediately. And look, Occam's razor, my guess is they will send him down immediately if he clears waivers, because that's the most likely explanation for why they would send him through waivers to begin with. That said, he didn't earn the spot. No. Because you wouldn't have waived him if there was still a chance he was going to be the number 6 on opening night. He's not going to be the number 6, and he could have been had he played well, but 2 consecutive games, not only is he not doing the little things right, he gets burned on Thursday night on the rush, and then he gets burned on Saturday night, also on the rush. He falls down, can't recover. They score the game-winning goal. That was the moment where you could just feel the people in the front office being like, we can't put this guy on the team. But you can't do it.
At a certain point, it is like, listen, yeah, we do think higher. We know you're better than this. We think higher of you than this, but you got to go and grab the job. You didn't. And so Grans is gone.
So he's gone. Yeah.
Let's talk a little about Saturday's game, and I want to transition to something much more positive.
Okay.
And that is the Shady Rays Future is Bright segment for today, Charlie, because I don't care what the final score was. It was a 4-3 loss to the Bruins. I don't care about the transition defense and Sam Ersson and Alex Bump's giveaway and Grans falling down, because Michkov and Zegras, boy, the future sure looks bright with those two in terms of their chemistry.
It was
finding each other. That power play goal, it was nice just seeing. I liked the Grebenkin goal, which was, you know what, Trevor Zegras going, I'm just going to throw this into a dangerous area, see what I can do with it. And Michkov getting to that puck and going, I'm just going to see what I can do with this thing. And Grebenkin banks it into the net. Cool. Good stuff. The power play goal was so much a chemistry play.
Yeah.
Power play regroup. Here comes Zegras through the neutral zone, gets the puck over the line, finds Michkov right there at the point. And we saw it a bunch last year when they started to take the down low stuff away from Michkov. There was a point where he was just kind of skating into the center of the ice from that spot and going and just throwing it towards the net. Couple went in, couple got deflected for rebounds and stuff. It was a thing he did. Skates the puck into that center of the ice between the circles. And instead of just firing a shot, who had snuck to that back door? Trevor Zegras playing right off of the motion.
Yeah.
And it is an easy. He shelved it because that's fun. But he could have just tapped it in real nice and easy, basically an empty net. That's beautiful, man. That is exactly the sort of chemistry, especially on the power play, that we need to see out of these two. Creative thinking, making things happen on and off the puck. The future certainly is bright.
Yeah, and I don't know yet if Michkov and Zegras are going to play together a 5-on-5. They have a little bit in this camp. They had Dvorak on their line a couple preseason games ago. So it's something that's possible.
Possible.
But I know they're going to play together on the power play.
Have to.
And you're seeing the chemistry already start to emerge. Obviously, they're doing all that extra work later on at practices. We talked to Zegras a couple days ago about it. He said we've been playing like crossbar and
yeah.
Michkov can't hit a crossbar apparently, which is very funny.
He needs Mish can hit a post as long as he's got 2 goals on the game already and the net's empty.
Exactly.
He didn't hit the crossbar on that though. I think it was just the far post.
It was just the post, yeah.
Yeah, but I just really am happy seeing what those two are able to do together. We've seen them team up on a couple now, and we're seeing them work together exclusively at practice.
Yeah.
Just the skill that these two possess. There's more to the game than skill. And yeah, I still am not like, oh yeah, pencil them in 20 minutes together, 5-on-5 every night. Still not sure I'm there yet. Still not sure that's the best way to go. But at certain times, offensive zone faceoffs, absolutely on the power play. These two are going to make stuff happen. It's going to be very difficult for defenses to handle what they're able to do with the puck.
Yeah, the power play was and it's preseason.
It's preseason.
The power play was as enjoyable as it's been to watch
10 years.
In not 10
3
years, but at least since Claude Giroux was traded. At least since then.
Yeah, and that's, listen, we spent a decent amount of time. Was it on Friday's show talking about the power play and really how this thing, it's been so bad that, yeah, a little improvement will be very nice. But 27 teams were over 17.5% last year, and that's a 3% improvement over what they did.
Yeah.
So, like, it really, really needs to step up to be an effective thing, a thing that stands out. And just seeing what these two can do, the 5-on-5 game, we'll see. What these two can do with the puck on the power play is exciting, and that's the Shady Rays Future is Bright segment for today. There was another power play goal in that game, Charlie, and I loved what I saw there as well.
Okay.
On the Sanheim little backdoor play there, because on the right wing side of the screen, there's just some puck movement. They're playing pitch and catch. They're moving it around a little bit. But on the far side off of the puck, and it's something we've begged for so much, it wasn't stationary. Here's Travis Sanheim, and what's he doing? Oh, he's in front of the net now to get a pass after everyone's focus was kind of over here as we're moving the puck around between a couple of guys. And then, oh, yeah, look at that. When you move around, stuff opens up for you. Again, it's preseason, but it is after spending a lot of time last week on how the hell can they make this thing watchable, if not actually good. Well, there we go. A couple of good examples of it.
Yeah, I thought there were times on Saturday when the power play still looked too stagnant for my liking, when they were just passing around the horn. No one was moving. Everyone was just standing there kind of watching Matvei Michkov, hoping he would do something cool rather than actually making life easier for him by moving around to give him moving targets to hit to actually do something cool. But there were a number of occasions where the motion was there. The power play just can't look stagnant. And it looked stagnant for so much of last year. Sean Couturier obviously made the point last week that he thought maybe guys were a little scared to make mistakes. Maybe they'll make more mistakes this year. Maybe that'll lead to more shorthanded chances, some more shorthanded goals against. Maybe. But if it leads to a few more power play goals, I think that's a trade-off that, at least in the short term, you're willing to take, because it's not like this team's trying to win a Stanley Cup. They're trying to fix things. And one of the things they need to fix is the power play. If you have to allow 6 or 7 shorthanded goals to get 15 more power play goals, 20 more power play goals, I'll take it, because hopefully then once you fix the power play in the sense of being able to produce, then over time you can make fewer of those mistakes when you're actually trying to win playoff games.
Was it, I think last week we showed the Flyers in the previous 3 years had 95 power play goals.
It's not great.
And there was 9 guys in the league who had more power play points over that time than the Flyers that score actual
Not the
goals.
best.
Like, it really does need to take a leap. And I do want to play this video too, since we have it. Speaking of Michkov and Zegras, they really want one, man. Michkov just wants one of these, as you see him take a little pass from Zegras, wrap it around.
This is during warm-ups.
This is during warm-ups.
Yeah, he's doing the backhand Michigan behind the net during warm-ups. He practices Michigans all the time. He practices them in practice. He practices them in warm-ups. Again, get one in a game. Like, he's trying all these wrinkles on the basic Michigan, and it's like, cool, it's fun to watch, but score a normal one.
I think, because like my thing with it last year. I like that he's been trying them more on the move and maybe changing the angle of it. Because my thing last year was he tried it so many times just standing there and kind of just gave the goalie too much time to react if he has different wrinkles for it. But yeah, he does.
I have nothing.
He's got to get one.
I have nothing against the Michigan. I think it's a fun play. I'm not a hockey man hater. I'm just saying, Matvei, actually get one before we're trying like weird variations of it.
Maybe the standard just isn't going to work for him, and he needs a knuckleball, basically.
Okay.
Maybe that's the issue, Charlie. Before we get into some of the individual plays, was there anything else that really stood out for you from Saturday's game?
We talking specifically about Michkov and Zegras?
Zegras.
I thought Michkov was fantastic with the puck. Look, he made some mistakes. He had some turnovers with, he wasn't perfect defensively without the puck. With the puck, though, dude was a scoring chance machine. I think I tweeted that out during the game. He was creating at will, and this is in, his second preseason game? I think we might be in for a fun season, at least of offense production on the part of one Matvei Michkov.
I mean, they need it. They badly need it, and they've been telling us all along, like, he's the star. He's the centerpiece of this thing.
That's what Sean Couturier straight up said.
It feels like this leap we need him to take from really good rookie season to centerpiece of the offense. It feels like it can happen. It feels like there is
I've always thought it could happen. My thing is, like, let's not expect it to happen so that if it doesn't happen, people won't lose their friggin' minds. But I absolutely think it can happen. I think he's fully capable of being point per game or even better than that this year, given his talent and given the fact that it seems like he definitely worked on his endurance for the NHL level in the offseason.
Another big TOI game for him. So perhaps Perhaps that will be all the difference. All right, and with that, we have to take our first break. If you want to see that big breakout season this year from MM39, perhaps you got to think about getting Xfinity, because Xfinity is the ultimate sports destination. There's never any lagging, never any buffering, no switching between 10 different apps to try to find all the best games and all your favorite teams. With Xfinity, all of the sports you want to watch are in one place, and they are in crystal clear HD, the enhanced 4K sound and picture, so clear that it feels like you're at the arena. You have to, if you call yourself a sports fan of any kind, you have to get Xfinity, because it is the ultimate sports destination. It's the perfect fan flex. You get that enhanced 4K picture and sound. You get all the best games and all in one place. And with the quad box, you can watch up to 4 games at once and get all the real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. So if you're trying to keep track of a couple different fantasy teams, maybe a couple different parlays going on, you have everything you need with Xfinity. So next game day, make sure you really are a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. While we're here, I got to tell you about Bet365, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I've told you about the 90 million users worldwide, the almost 800,000 live streamed events each year, and the early payouts across the NBA and NHL. They were one of the pioneers in live in-game betting, and now with the playoffs just days away, I got to tell you about the Major League Baseball early payout offer. With the Bet365 early payouts, you're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs, regardless of what happens for the rest of the game. Soon as your team, if you have a money line bet or you have them as a winner in your parlay, you get marked as a winner as soon as you open up a 5-run lead. It is that simple. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for 5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your team wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
Before we get into to other stuff, my understanding with the Trevor Zegras absence from practice today.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't seem like it's a big deal. Look, it's worth keeping an eye on because they were off yesterday. And also, we did ask for Trevor Zegras for availability after the game on Saturday, and he never came out. So just something to keep an eye on. It might be a little banged up. I imagine he's at least a little banged up in some way, even if they refer to it as a maintenance day. But it does seem like this isn't super serious. It would be a bummer if we don't see him the rest of preseason, though.
He's also only played, 89, 88 games over the last 2 years combined.
It's worth keeping an eye on.
He has the injury history. It is something to keep an eye on. And maintenance for what? They've been on the ice for 2 weeks. Maintenance means something needs to be maintained.
He clearly got banged up at least a little bit on Saturday, I would assume. I don't think it's super serious, but just, when they practice tomorrow, the first thing I'll be looking for is whether Trevor Zegras is on the ice or not. I hope he will be.
For good luck, hit the like button. I thought you were going to go with that. That's why I went with the 2 thumbs up when you started talking about it.
Well, I figured we were going to immediately transition to other stuff, and I wanted to get that Zegras tidbit.
Forgot we had that in there. It makes sense. Yeah.
But hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
We're 99.
99.
We got to get to 200 by the end of the show.
Or else.
Simple as that.
There might not be a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might go on strike if you don't get us to 200. I don't think I'm allowed to do that.
Don't test this, man.
I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I think they'd just be like, no, come to work. All right. Let's go from some positives to some negatives. Now, you look at Sam Ersson's numbers, 4 goals on 27 shots for an .852 save percentage, and you go, that's bad. But when you actually watch some of the goals, it's some of the bad transition defense we've seen throughout the preseason shows itself, some turnovers. That Alex Bump play was, I don't know what the hell was going on.
We'll get to that one in a bit.
But Sam Ersson overall, if you just look at the box score, it's like, yikes. But when you actually watch what happened, like, okay, there's a 3-on-0 here. What's supposed to happen? They're supposed to score in a 3-on-0. What did you think of Sam getting the whole game?
This is a confirmation bias game in the sense where if you came into this game wanting to have your opinion of Sam Ersson confirmed, yeah, you can point to the numbers. If you actually watch the game, which, like, in fairness, it's not like the Flyers make it super easy.
They don't.
But if you actually watch the game, Ersson was fine. He played much better than he did that one period where he gave up the horrific goal early in preseason. It seems like he's trending upwards. He's going to get at least one more game the rest of the way, if not two. Any concerns I had about Ersson were eased by this game, at least in terms of his readiness for the season. I'm not expecting, look, he might not play well because maybe he's not a great goalie. Maybe he's not even a good goalie. I guess we'll find out this year. This will provide a lot more evidence. But I'm not worried that he's just not going to be ready for the season. It seems like this game was a step in the right direction in terms of technique and consistency, even if the numbers didn't look great.
Based on how they told us, okay, starting last week, they told us starting next week, the goalies will get full games. You said he's probably going to get one, maybe two more. Do you expect it to go, like, it'll be Vladar full game tonight, if all goes according to plan?
Yeah.
Do you expect it to then go back to Ersson, then Vladar to close it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Bill, you're asking me questions. They could choose. I assume that Ersson will get one of the games and Vladar will get the other. I do not know what order they are going to do it in.
I'm just asking what you think may happen, John.
Usually, what I will say is usually the final game is a dress rehearsal for game one. My assumption is that Sam Ersson will start the season as the number one. So that would tell me that Ersson probably gets Saturday, but maybe they'll just go in Ersson, Vladar order, and Ersson will get Thursday's game. I don't know. As long as he gets one more the rest of the way, it's fine. I don't really care when.
There is like it usually is a dress rehearsal, but there is like 5 days in between the final preseason and the opener, so maybe they go in a different direction. I don't know. But we will keep an eye on that. But I didn't think Ersson was nearly as bad as the stat line.
No,
you see the stat line and go, oh, same guy from last year. But then you watch what happened and you go, but every goal was like some sort of ridiculous breakdown.
Going through the goals, you had Alex Bump, and again, we'll get to this.
Yeah.
Terrible play, basically gift wraps a goal to Johnny Beecher. I give Sam Ersson 0% of the blame on that one. He reasonably expected that the rookie was just going to hold the puck for the final 3 seconds of the period, and he didn't have to worry about it. There was another goal where, and this was just a fluke bounce. I forget who it was who took the shot, but the initial shot gets taken. Nick Seeler blocks it, and the puck goes right back to the guy who shot it. That's, if you've, and I'm not a goalie expert, but every goalie I've ever talked to, those are like nearly impossible because you set, you're prepared for the shot, and then boom, it gets blocked, and then boom, it's right back to the guy who took the initial shot. There's like no way you're going to be set for that shot. If it's in a decent place, it's going to beat you. And then the final goal of the game was Helge Grans getting absolutely scorched. So very few plays Ersson made in this game was like, yeah, that was a bad goal. Like he was fine. Don't worry about the numbers. He was fine.
All right, now let's move back to the forwards and this position battle, this camp battle for at least one open spot amongst the forwards. Charlie, we've said, like, depending on how they want to do things, maybe there's 2 spots open, maybe a spot on the fourth line, and maybe 2 spots if they want to sit Delorier. But we all truly believe at least one of Luchanko, Bump, and Grebenkin is going to make this team. Let's start with Jett Luchanko. Plays 13 minutes and 21 seconds. He has one shot, 1 block, 1 hit. He wins only 3 of 9 faceoffs. We have talked about the different roster gymnastics that could go on, especially if they just want to get him to try out and then may see from there if they're going to send him back, whatever. But without at least one standout performance, which to this point he has not had, can they justify a roster spot, even if it's just for the tryout?
Well, the first point I'll make is that I thought this was Saturday. I thought Saturday was his worst game of the preseason so far. In the other games, I could point to him doing little things well. I could point to good plays in the defensive zone, good plays in the neutral zone, good plays along the boards. I thought on Saturday he was making mistakes even with the subtleties of his game, and that was concerning to me. Now, your question of can they justify giving him a roster spot if he doesn't stand out in preseason games? My answer to you is I don't know.
They can do whatever they want.
Someone asked me on Twitter today, do you think that it was a very complicated question, but functionally what it came down to was, do they just care about putting him on the roster because they don't want to send him back to juniors? And my answer was basically, look, I'm not trying to be mean here, but like that's a Danny Briere question because I don't know. I truly do not know how adamant they are on getting this guy on the roster. They might be. They might be so certain that they want this guy to, at the very least, get another 9-game trial that it almost doesn't matter what he does in camp as long as he avoids like Helge Grans level falling on his face. That might be it. If we're going purely by quality of play in preseason, no, he doesn't deserve to be on the roster. But I would make the case that last season he didn't deserve to be on the roster either based on his play in preseason, and he made the roster. So we'll see. It really depends on just how important it is to the Flyers to get him on this roster. Now, again, Luchanko's playing today. Maybe he has a really good game. Maybe he starts trending back upwards, and then it becomes an easy decision. Because I think one thing that's obvious is the Flyers do want him on this roster.
Yes.
They would like for him to make this team. That would make them feel good. To have him at least start the season on the team, playing one of the center positions. You're already seeing Dvorak move over to wing. That would open up theoretically a spot for, I guess, one of him or Rodrigo Abols. But have a feeling Luchanko's the guy they're rooting for to take that other center spot. I don't know where they're at with this, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility of them putting him on the roster, even if he never quite has a standout game.
Yeah, and like, not saying that he can't. Again, he could come out, score 3 points tonight, and it's okay. He just talking about confirmation bias. The Flyers like him. The Flyers want him to make the team. He had one good game. Boom. Guess what? You did it. It's possible. I just wonder, like, it's so much of a guessing game no matter what, but especially with a new coaching staff. Like, what exactly is the criteria going to be? Who exactly is going to stand out to them, and what are they looking for from each guy? I really want Jett Luchanko to make this team because that's just the most interesting outcome. But can they, if he just, say it's not, you thought Saturday was his worst game, say it's not that, but it's more just, all right, he's doing all the little things. He plays in all the rest of the preseason games, and he does the little stuff right. Never really breaks out, but looks like he's fine. Can they do that?
Yes.
I wonder.
Yeah, I think they can.
Yeah.
I think they can, and I think there's a decent chance they might. Now, if he has 2 more or 3 more games like the one he played on Saturday, I wonder, because there were turnovers, there were misplays. There was one play where like he tried to throw a check and the guy just shrugged him off as if he wasn't even there. Those are the plays that concern me. If he plays the way he did in his first preseason game this time, which I don't remember, it's all blending together because they're playing so much. I don't remember if that was Sunday or Tuesday. It was one of those 2 games he played. If he plays the way he played in that game, yeah, I think he could make the team purely out of them just wanting him on the roster to start the year. If he struggles, then we see just how important it is for them to have him on this team to start the year.
And to the point we made a few shows ago, there is roster dynamics at play that could, listen, we can always call up Rodrigo. We can always call up Grebenkin. We can always call up Bump. Once you send Luchanko back,
exactly,
he's there.
Yeah.
He's in Guelph until the end of that season, which will probably be early, but there's always a chance he's traded as well.
He's traded to a better team.
Like they did, like Guelph did name a different captain after they gave Jett the C a season ago, you know? Yeah. So it's possible they trade him or whatever after World Juniors. So
not to be clear, not the Flyers.
No.
Guelph
trades him to a different OHL team.
Yeah.
So that's
I know you know. I just didn't want to confuse anybody else.
It is good to make sure everyone is on the same page. Yeah, the Guelph could always trade him to a contender. That's what happens, especially like, all right, this is it. He ain't coming back next year. Like he's going to be in the NHL or at least the AHL. So we'll see. But this is there's just a lot of different things at play.
Yeah,
we'll see how they go with it. It feels like it's trending towards. He just didn't stand out, but maybe they want to just give him the tryout.
Yeah, and I think, you made the point of we don't know how this coaching staff makes decisions because it's a new coach staff, and that's fair. But I think with Luchanko specifically, I don't think this is a coaching staff decision. I think this is a Danny Briere in the front office decision.
And as it should be. Listen, John Tortorella was his own animal. And I got to believe, like you said with Nesbitt, I got to believe there was a little bit of, yeah, man, I picked this guy and everyone didn't like him. And this coach says he belongs in the NHL and suck it. He does.
Yeah.
But now it's, yeah, man, if you want Abols over Bump, cool, fine, whatever, coach. But with Luchanko, that's kind of a future of the organization development question.
Exactly.
That's more front office stuff.
Then it's like, okay, is he better off playing 7 games in the NHL, going back to Guelph for a little bit, then playing World Juniors, then hopefully we can engineer a trade to London or something for the stretch run, and then that's his season? Is that better than him going back to Guelph and playing at least the entire first half of the season in Guelph? That's why I'm saying I think the Luchanko decision is more so than the defense, more so than Grebenkin, more so than Bump, is a front office decision. Not to say that Briere doesn't ultimately have the final call on everything, but I think they're going to be less. They're going to care a little bit less about what Tocchet's view of Luchanko is right now when making the decision, as opposed to his view of like Dennis Gilbert and Noah Juleson.
Let's move the conversation to Alex Bump. Played 11-18 on, what was it, Saturday? Was -2, 1 shot, 1 hit, and of course, a huge assist on the first Boston goal. On the first Boston.
He directly created a goal.
We have been
just
talking
wasn't for the Flyers.
We have been talking about him finally showing up on the score sheet, and he really should have probably earned an assist on that play. To this point, now he's done some stuff. He's been noticeable in some of the games. To this point, to me, he is really making a case for he could use a couple weeks in the AHL just to get everything going. So when he comes to the NHL, he's firing on all cylinders. To me, that's not where he is right now. And if he's not operating at 100%, then a few weeks in the American League are more than acceptable. Again, could kill it for the rest of the preseason, but as of right now, I'm looking at, we'll see on Thanksgiving. Kid.
Bill, there's a world where that might have been the end of his preseason, because you look at it.
That's fair
he's
too.
He's not in the lineup tonight. There's only 2 more games left. You figure Saturday is going to be something of a dress rehearsal. There's no guarantee he gets in a Thursday's game. It might be over. Bump may stick around for the entirety of camp because they like him a lot. He's a skilled guy. He's shown some things, but he might be done. He might be out of the race. Now, we'll see. Maybe he's not. Maybe he plays in Thursday's game, gets a chance to redeem himself. But it was telling to me what they did with the lineup in game. So Bump, obviously, end of the first period, he has this awful turnover. But before that, he'd been playing on the first line. He was playing with Sean Couturier and Travis Konechny. He was top line, left wing on the top line.
That's an opportunity.
By the end of the game, he was on the fourth line with Rodrigo Abols and Jake Gaucher. But just as important, that spot that Bump was in to start the game was taken by Nikita Grebenkin, who did step up in that game and have a strong game and is directly competing with Alex Bump for that spot. That just struck me as Grebenkin essentially jumping Bump, and maybe Bump will get an opportunity on Thursday to redeem himself, but I don't know. It's not a guarantee he will. He might be done.
He very well could be. We've seen some good flashes from Bump, not able to light the lamp, and now with the huge mistake that everyone can circle and go, and with other players, Abols and Grebenkin, performing much better. I don't, again, this isn't indicative of what I think his career is going to be. Just looks like he's going to be a nice player. But I can see this being, we will revisit on Thanksgiving, kid. Like, you need to go down, get yourself together, be at the level you were in the NCAA tournament, your first couple of weeks of the AHL. You need to get yourself back to that so that we can consider putting you in this roster where we badly want you.
Yeah, they do.
Like, we know how much they like Alex Bump because they tell us every chance they get how much they like Alex Bump. Was it Riley Armstrong saying he wants his kid to play like Alex Bump?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. They really think highly of him.
They do.
And he's coming out saying, like, I want my children to play this way. Like, that's as good of a compliment as you can give anyone.
Yeah.
I wish Bump was going to make this team. I just don't see it right now.
The comparison I'll make for Bump, because it very much came to my mind watching that turnover that led to the goal on Saturday night. I'll compare it to Cam York in the 2022 training camp.
Yeah.
Because he had gotten a long look the previous season. He looked good. He showed up to that camp, and it was like, oh, yeah, Cam York's making this team. First round pick. Organization loves him. They're not good on defense. Yeah, York's making this team. And York was underwhelming. But you're still thinking, well, he's got to make it, right? It's Cam York. He's going to make the team. And then he had that one awful play where he got completely scorched, gets completely muscled off the puck in the neutral zone, leads to a breakaway. The other team scores. And then it's just, you look at that play and you're like, we can't justify putting him on this team. After a play like that, I think it's over. Now, Bump did not get sent down immediately. He's still with the big club at camp. I saw him today on the ice. He looked fine, looked confident, made some plays. But that reminded me of the Cam York play, where that's just a moment that overshadows everything else you did in camp and just makes it so it's not a foregone conclusion. But if you remember the York thing, he made that play and like 2 days later, he was down. And then guess what happened? By the beginning of December, York was up and he played pretty darn good the rest of that season. If Bump gets sent down, and I think that's the most likely outcome at this point, I'm not expecting to be down for super long. He might be up in a month, 2 months, 3 months at most. I think he's going to play well in the AHL. But it's really, really hard to make a case that he's earned a job, especially after what he did on Saturday.
And especially with other guys stepping up. I'm going to talk about one of those guys, Nikita Grebenkin, in just a couple of minutes. But first, got to tell you about Rothman. Listen, we've all been there. We've been trying to power through whatever plans we've made, just whether it's having fun at a wedding or a pickup game or something you've really been looking forward to, and you just can't do it because some nagging injury is holding you back. Stubborn pain that you haven't been able to shed. But when rest isn't cutting it, sometimes you just got to call in the experts. And that's why we trust Rothman Orthopedics. That's right. Whether you're running, swinging your golf clubs, lifting the little ones for a pool day, whatever it might be, Rothman specialists are here to treat what's holding you back. They've got top tier care, and it will have you moving and enjoying every minute of your fun time. If pain is slowing you down, take the first step. Head to rothmanortho.com/PHLY and schedule your appointment today. Rothman Orthopedics, your fun, your mobility is their mission. And now it's time to tell you about Shady Rays. That's right. You know the moment when you realize, just left my sunglasses at that gas station 3 states away, just fell down trying to ride a wave, and there go my sunglasses. It happens to all of us, and it is always a real bummer, but that's why I love Shady Rays. Not only are their glasses awesome looking, strong polarization, really, really affordable, but also they have the best replacement plan in the eyewear industry. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just new glasses. It's awesome. Best replacement plan there is. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear. I wear them to the beach. I wear them to concerts. I wear them every single day, and you will too. You'll love your Shady Rays because Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. And we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Just head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, let's talk about Grebenkin, Charlie. And it really feels like he has he's locked things down. He scores a goal the other night, plays just over 12 minutes. He's +1, also has 2 shots and 4 hits in the game. He's been pretty impressive. And what I've been thinking about Grebenkin all along is his game needs the least tweaking to be what it's going to be and be effective at the NHL level.
I'm just going to go back to what I said after Thursday's game. We were talking about everybody, about how the fact that the whole team didn't play well. And I mentioned that I thought it was Grebenkin's first misstep of camp. But it was much easier for me to accept that he was just tired because he had done so well the rest of camp. He was impressive in the rookie games. He was impressive in his first preseason game. He's been impressive in practices, showing chemistry with Michkov. That, yeah, he wasn't noticeable at all on Thursday, but hey, maybe he was just tired. Next game, he's going to have to go out and prove that that was the reason. Well, guess what? After a day off on Friday, he doesn't just bounce back. He has his best performance of the preseason to this point. It was so refreshing to watch that, because I would say if there's been an overarching story of this preseason, it's been guys we were excited about not doing much.
Yeah.
Not taking that leap, not making that case of, I need to be here. And what we saw from Nikita Grebenkin on Saturday was a guy basically being like, no, I'm ready. Put me on this team. And it was just nice because, like, that's what, as someone who covers a team, that's what I want to see. I want to see a guy, planting his flag and being like, no, I'm an NHL player. I deserve to be on this team. And here's why. That was evidence, because it wasn't just the goal. It's a nice goal. Not only is it a nice goal because he bats it out of midair, it's a nice goal because I'm pretty sure he deflects the Zegras backhand that initially starts that chaos that ends with the goal. So he was doing multiple things on that play. But it wasn't just the goal. He was making plays on the boards. He was making plays below the goal line. He had a really nice passing sequence that nearly set up a Sean Couturier goal in the third period when he was playing further up the lineup. He just had a start to finish really good game. Now, does it mean he's a lock to make the team? I don't think so, just because there's 3 more preseason games left. What if he goes out there tonight and flops and has 2 really bad turnovers and looks like crap? Then maybe it opens the door back up. But if he goes out there on Monday night against Boston, up there in Boston, and has another strong game, maybe he picks up a primary or a secondary assist, forechecks well, makes good passes, looks strong along the boards. Basically, if he goes out and looks the way he looked in his first preseason game, not even as good as he looked in on Saturday, but as good as he looked in his first preseason game, which was the game on the island where you're like, yeah, Grebenkin looks solid. Wasn't dominant, but looked solid. I think that might be enough to lock it down, but I don't think he's there yet. He still has some work to do. He's in the lead. Yeah. I think he's very clearly in the lead, but hey, tortoise in the hare. Sometimes guys can blow it.
I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing if he's able to hold this lead now. It's going to be fun to see Nikita Grebenkin in the lineup. It's not Alex Bump. It's not a guy we drafted, but he was part of the return for Scott Lawton. He does have some NHL experience, and he does play a style that I think they are looking to add that maybe they've struggled with. He's getting in on the forecheck. He's playing physically. If they're going to be the puck possession team that Rick Tocchet wants them to be, this is an element they need. Now
he goes to the net front.
Yeah, and he goes to the net. He can make things happen. He's got the size to not get pushed out of the way by some defensemen. Now you can say the same thing about Alex Bump, but Alex Bump just hasn't been as good as Nikita Grebenkin. I think he's the most ready. If the idea isn't just, well, we got to give the young kids a look. It's we got to give the young kids a look en route to being a better team this year. I think Grebenkin is the most suited day one to help them be better than they were a year ago.
Yeah, and we talked about this at the start of camp. One of the things that Grebenkin has going for him as well is, unlike Bump, who I think if he was going to make the team, and hey, maybe he still could, you never know. If he's going to make the team, it's got to be in a top 9 role. Grebenkin, yeah, he can play in the top 9. He's shown chemistry with Michkov. He was looking pretty good with Couturier and Connect. He could play on one of those lines to start the year, but he could also play on the 4th line. And it looks like tonight, I mean, the line they're rolling with tonight with him, Luchanko, and Hathaway, I mean, that's a potential game 1 4th line.
Yes, that was my initial thought as well when you tweeted the lines and what the groups were this morning. Oh, okay. So it's because it's we'll get to Foerster in a second, but Foerster's making his debut, and he's with the guys who presumably he would start the season with, because that was the only effective line last year.
I think that line will stay together for game 1.
It probably should. It was really good last year. Yeah. And then you look, okay, the other guys are all fighting or trying to figure something out where they actually stand in the organization. But you look at that second line, it's, all right, Hathaway, we know he's in the game 1 lineup. Luchanko, would they want him in a 4th line role? We've talked about that a ton.
I think they're open to it.
And they're open to it, I would assume. And then Grebenkin, all right, this is a line we could very well see. That was my initial reaction as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want that for Alex Bump. It may have been my prediction for what the lines could be a couple months ago, but to me it seems like we need a left winger in the top 9. We want it to be Bump. But if it isn't, he can go to the AHL. Whereas Grebenkin, yeah, man, we're fine with that because of the stylistic and size difference.
Exactly. And that gives him, he always had that leg up over Bump.
Yeah.
That versatility, that flexibility, the ability to be a fourth liner, to play a fourth line game and still contribute. Now he's outplaying him too, which is why it's even tougher to imagine a world where Bump makes the team. That said, and it's worth pointing this out, if you, let's assume right now, and again, assumptions are always risky, but let's assume right now Grebenkin and Abols are making this team. That's only 13 forwards. There is still one more spot. Now, maybe Luchanko is that guy. Maybe Luchanko has that 14th forward spot. But hey, if they send him back, like there's one more spot available. Doesn't have to go to Alex Bump. It could go to a Jacob Gaucher if they want to put somebody like that as an extra forward. But I'm just saying that you can have a team where Grebenkin and Abols make the team and there's still one more spot.
There is. And of course, we've like talked of all the different ways that it could unfold. All right, I have to real quick tell you about a survey that you need to fill out for us. I need you to go to allphly.com/survey, or real easy, scan that QR code right there. We're trying to get a number of respondents to help us shape the content here at PHLY, what you like to see, what you want to see more of, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We love all of our listeners and very much appreciate your input. It's kind of what I think separates us, is how much of a community we're trying to build here at PHLY. Well, you can help in that building. Go to allphly.com/survey, fill out the survey, only takes a few minutes, and everyone who does it is entered for a chance to win an Amazon gift card, $100. Who couldn't use a free $100? Well, you help us out, maybe we'll be able to help you out as well. Very simple, very easy. QR code, there we go. There it is. QR code right down there. I'm trying. Scan it, fill out the survey, and that'll help us out a ton. Thanks. All right. Rodrigo Abols playing his 5th straight preseason game, Charlie, tonight. I can't remember anyone playing every preseason game. Do you think that's what's going to happen here?
It would surprise me if he plays every single one, but hey, we're already 5 out of 7. There's only 2 more after this. The one comparison I can make, though, and this is saying that maybe it's not a lock that Abols makes the team. Last year, the Flyers played 7 preseason games. In the first game, Anthony Richard did not play. In the other 6, which included, I believe, might have been 2 back-to-backs, at least 1 back-to-back, Anthony Richard played every single other game. He played 6 out of 7 preseason games, and Anthony Richard ultimately did not make the roster. Now, that was in large part because John Tortorella was adamant that Jett Luchanko make this team, and Anthony Richard, more or less, I remember interviewing him, and Richard basically said after he was sent down, like, yeah, they basically told me, like, I'll be up soon because they just want to have a look at this kid.
Yeah.
But he got in 6 to 7 games and he didn't make the team, so it's not a guarantee Abols makes the team. But it does seem to be trending in that direction, because they just keep giving him opportunities and he keeps not looking bad in them.
What I will say is, I think between him playing again a 5th straight time, and he's looked decent at least throughout his time in the preseason, and he held his own last year in the NHL. My guess would be it all comes down to what they do with Jett again. And if they're going to give him that tryout, it's, listen, your first call up after we send Jett back, or whatever. If he ends up sticking because he's really good, then when there's injuries, you'll be first guy up. Or, yeah, he makes the team because they just send Jett back to the OHL. Like, I think those are, like, just looking at the lines tonight, like, all right, we're going to give Jett a chance to win this 4th line spot. If he does, cool. Maybe we can send Abols down. Maybe he's our extra forward. Doesn't hurt us either way. Or, yeah, he's kind of been one of the best. And like these 4 guys fighting for these 2 spots, it's Grebenkin and Abols right now.
Yeah, I just feel like Abols makes too much sense not to at least keep around as an extra, especially given the amount of games they've given him and the fact that in quite a few of those games he's looked legitimately good. Yeah. And I don't think even in his worst games he's looked bad. I think his ceiling in these games is probably like about an 8 out of 10, and his floor has probably been about a 5 out of 10, which really ain't bad. I don't think he's had a bad game. He's had mediocre games and he's had good games, and he's played in 5 straight games. Well, now this will be 5 straight games. He's played in 4 straight games thus far. This will be his 5th. Maybe this is the game where he flops. We'll see. I mean, he would have a decent excuse given the fact that he's played more games than everybody else, but he just makes a lot of sense to me as an extra, even if he's not the 4C to start the year. He's 29 going on 30. He played in the NHL last season and didn't look terrible doing it. He's a bit quicker this year. He's a good dude in the room. He just seems like a genuinely gregarious, like happy-go-lucky kind of guy. But one that, I'm not saying, when I say happy-go-lucky, I don't mean like he's got his head in the clouds. He seems like a pretty smart dude. He knows a lot of languages, so that can't hurt Michkov. I think Abols is a slam dunk at this point to make the team unless he does something really, really bad in the next couple games.
All right, and that leaves us with the defense. We mentioned Grans waived. We assume he'll be assigned to the AHL shortly. How the hell do you see this thing playing out, Charlie? Like, they need a sixth defenseman still.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's like it's going so poorly.
Like, people have asked me this, and my answer is I don't know.
Someone has to win this job.
I don't know because they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. No one has looked that good. I think Andrae has looked the best, but he's only been in one preseason game. Somebody brought up the point of, is he ahead in your head because he hasn't had as many opportunities to stink?
Yes.
And honestly, maybe.
Yes.
That might be the reason.
Yeah. And like, also, I just think he's the best player. Like, we talked about this last week. At a certain point, if nobody wins this job, like, they're not going to go an opening night with only 5 defensemen, right? So you give it to the guy with the chance of playing the best. To me, that's Emil Andrae. Yes, he had his ups and downs last season in both the NHL and AHL. He is not a slam dunk. But I don't know if any of these guys are any good. I thought Grans had a real chance to supplant him. Well, he got waived today. Like, at a certain point, someone has to play. I think it should probably just be him. We'll see. He's playing tonight, right?
Yeah, so this game strikes me as a really big game for the defenseman because no one has stood out, and especially now that Grans is seemingly no longer in the mix. He's been waived. Whether he's going to even be in the organization tomorrow, we don't know. But you look at the guys starting in this game on defense. You got Gilbert, you've got Juleson, you've got Hunter McDonald, you've got Emil Andrae, you've got Adam Ginning, and then Zamula. I mean, if you want to say Zamula's on the bubble, I think he's making the team. But hey, maybe he's on the bubble. These are every single one of the bubble defensemen. There's no Cam York or Travis Sanheim or even a Nick Seeler to be found. These are the bubble defensemen. This game strikes me as a sink or swim. Show me you should be the 6. Show me you should be on this roster. If you do, hey, no one stood out yet. So you could, if one of these guys scores a goal and an assist, he might win the job outright just because he finally did something.
Someone doing literally anything is going to win them the job. Yeah. Like, that's what it's really going to come down to, I feel like. And I got to point out this middle pair here. McDonald, Andrae. I want it so bad because we never got Moran Ghost.
Oh.
Like, we never got Moran Ghost. And I want McDonald Andrae to be a real thing, to fulfill that promise from like 13 years ago. But
the really, really big guy with the small skilled guy.
Yeah. It seemed like such a good idea. All right. We'll see how the defense battle works its way out. Anything else for the game tonight before we move
the
on?
big thing is Tyson Foerster making his debut.
Yep.
It's obviously a great sign that he's playing because we didn't know. I mean, there was a time 2 months ago where there were scattered reports that he might miss the entire first half of the season.
Yeah.
And now it looks like he is on track to play in game 1. I would have been a little bit more concerned if, let's say, the first preseason game he got into was the finale. Then it's like, is he really ready? He'll probably play another preseason game at least before the end. Maybe he gets in the next 2 just to make sure he can handle it. But him getting into a preseason game this early, and I know it's not early in camp, but it's earlier than maybe I expected, bodes really well for his readiness for game 1, and that's a great sign.
All right, and Vladar playing the full game tonight. Do we know who's backing up?
Kolosov is backing up, but Vladar will get the entire
Vladar is supposed to get the whole game.
Per Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, and we were told that was the plan, once we got into this week, and we just saw Ersson play the whole game.
Yep.
So that would make the most sense. All right. We have, I believe, 1 super chat. Great job getting us over 200 likes today, fam. Really appreciate it. Much like the Flyers, you are all rounding into regular season form as well. And our pal Adam S. says, any possible way that they make a trade for a defenseman? Flyers defense looks very rough. Also, any word on Bonk's health?
Seems unlikely that they would make a trade just because it's not like Risto is going to be gone forever. He mentioned Oliver Bonk. Bonk isn't going to be hurt forever. He's going to be in the mix. And then they're going to expect that somebody like Grans, if Andrae doesn't make the team, somebody like Andrae, that they're going to eventually earn call-ups. So I don't think they'll make a trade. Maybe they would make a waiver claim.
waiver claim would be something to keep an eye on. All right. And with that, I got to tell you, that's all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Day. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, follow us right here on YouTube. You know what to do. We're closing in on 50,000 followers, so make sure you get in on that. Yeah. Follow us on all the socials. Follow the podcast wherever you get those. That's it for us. My name is Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Thank you to Brenna, and be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.